Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome to Philly Eagles Therapy. New season, new name, new look, got a new logo. I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Dad, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. We got this new logo going. So, it's a new situation. We kind of got the dually thing going. You're in two different locations because throughout the season, I think we're going to have times where we're not going to be able to get together and be in this little room we have here set up. So, yeah, doing good. I think we needed to release a podcast just to reintroduce the new name, Philly Eagles Therapy,
That's right.
so that it's a little bit easier to find, hopefully, and more people will get uh, some of our good content.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. Well, we're here recording Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, after the first preseason game of the season of the NFL season. Not for the Eagles, of course, but for the entire NFL. We're starting off, man. We're getting there. Obviously, preseason pre means before, but it still feels like, you know what? It's the season, dude. It's begun. We're
Yes.
getting close to it, and it's super exciting. And got an Eagles football game in 4 days. Not going to air at the same time that it's being played. It's going to be airing at 11 p.m. for us, so 1 a.m. Eastern time. Is that right?
Yeah, on NFL Network.
Okay, yeah. Well,
So,
I'm sure we've all got it set to record. We've all got it ready for DVR. I'm going to try to pull up some websites that maybe let me watch it while it's live, but I'll mostly focus on it after it's actually aired on NFL Network.
yeah, it's unfortunate that we can't get together with our group here, the Colorado Springs Eagles fan group, because
That's
that's
right.
can't do it. It's just not going to happen. So
That's
they're
right.
they're airing two different games on Thursday night, and that's the way preseason is. So
Yep.
it's
And yeah, like
unfortunate.
my dad just said, the Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs, that's the group we're part of. Hoping to meet up maybe for the second preseason game. Hopefully put it in the Facebook page, get in touch with Ben and Steve and see what they have planned. I just went to Rhinos the other day, Rhinos Sports and Spirits. That was where we go to watch those Eagles games. But we'll keep you guys updated on what we're planning to do for that preseason game as well as for the season and everything like that. But Dad, let's go ahead without further ado. Let's get into the meat of the first Philly Eagles therapy podcast episode. News to talk about, just a few things before we get into the training camp breakdown. Number one, big one I got to mention that we're all excited for, all happy about. Eric Allen officially inducted into the Hall of Fame, the 26th Eagle of all time, the 25th Eagles player, 25 players and one coach who played for the Eagles now in the Hall of Fame.
Now it's funny because Eric Allen, I knew he was going to get in the Hall of Fame. I wish he had stayed with us through his career. That's the whole Norman Brayman thing with the owner that we had that just didn't want to pay anybody. We're seeing that now across the league, but at the time he was one of the best corners in the league. He finished with I think 58 interceptions, but for us he had a bunch of interceptions and he also had several pick sixes, if you will. But I mean, he was a great player. We had him from 88 to 94, I believe. So we had him for 6 or 7 seasons. Uh, Great player. But, it was a time when free agency just first came out in 93 in the NFL. And it's so funny because in those days, we were like, a lot of the fans were like, oh, yeah, there should be free agency. And of all the teams back then, it hit us worse. It hit the Eagles team worse than any other team. We lost Reggie, of course. Seth Joyner left. Clyde Simmons left. Eric Allen left. And it can go on and on. So, yeah, it's great to see him in the Hall of Fame. It took a long time. But, hey, man, he's there, and it's great. He definitely needs to be there. He looks good in gold. And unfortunately, he didn't really have much playoff success with us when he played with us, but man, he was a heck of a player. And
Yeah.
I followed him after he left us. I watched him. He was a great player.
Yeah,
Good guy too.
as far as playoff success, no one really had it with the Eagles before the year 2000. So
Yep. Very
wasn't
true.
very often, but yeah, you hit it spot on. He played 217 games in his career, 54 picks, but he also had four in the playoffs, so 58 in total. With us, he played 7 years. He had 34 touchdowns, and with us, he had five pick sixes. He had four in the one season that you were talking about. Later in his career with Oakland, he would go on to have three pick sixes in one season, which is pretty incredible. He had one pick six in one season, and then he had another eight another seven in two others. Just kind of a
So
funny
now,
thing.
where does he rank in Eagles history for interceptions? Did he tie someone
Ooh,
at 34, or is there someone above him? I mean, you got Bill Bradley and some other players that we had, but I
let's
wonder if
see.
he's, you know, at the top or at least tied?
So there are three tied for the top, and good job on
That's what I
you.
thought.
Eric Allen and Bill Bradley, and then the
Yeah.
number one, of course, is Brian Dawkins. So those are the three that are tied for first in all times Eagles interceptions. Herman Edwards right behind with 33.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
Herm Edwards was not with us that many years.
Really.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're very happy. We're very ecstatic that we got to see Eric Allen go into the Hall of Fame. I know he was one of your favorite players when you were watching back in the 80s. And
Great
a
player.
lot of Eagles players, I'm sorry, a lot of Eagles fans all over the nation and the world could say he was one of their favorites of all time.
He was really, really good. I mean, he played, like I say, and those were the years that we finally were starting to get better from 86, 87, 88 till like early 90s. That's when we were a good team, not a great team, but, Randall and the whole thing. And it's funny, that's when we started to pick up fans that did not necessarily live or grow up in Philly, but we started to get that nationwide type fan, like team players, people that didn't live in Philly, but they loved the Eagles because of a lot of the players that we had on the team, defensive, of course, and Eric Allen was right there. He's in that one picture we have, too, that we used to have at Frankie's with the four defensive players. I think it was Clyde, Reggie Brown, Reggie White.
I think it had Clyde, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Eric Allen. Yeah. And then I think it had Seth Joyner on it as well.
I think it did. I think it had five in that picture. But that's like a famous, if you will, picture. And then we were flying it in Frankie's at the time when she generously let us put up all our Eagles gear in the bar, which was amazing. That's right.
It's somewhere at your house, so maybe we'll put it up behind you for the next episode. That's a good idea.
I know where. Yeah, I got it. I know where it's at.
Cool. Moving on to some other news. Our new long snapper, Charlie Hewlett, did suffer an injury, so we recently just signed a new long snapper named Christian Johnstone. Really? Just a roster move that's important. Obviously the long snapper is probably the most underrated position in the NFL. Would you agree? I mean,
yeah. I mean, most of us don't know we've had for the last 10 years. We've had two of them, Rick Lovato being the latest, and I'm sure he's always out. He's out there, and we could probably sign him back.
Yep, I know what you mean. Well, no, I think he went somewhere, didn't he?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's the thing about long snappers.
That's the thing about long snappers. I'm pulling it up right now. He is not on a team right now. So maybe they'll be pulling him up one day. I don't know. Yeah. But we'll see. I don't know how serious it is. He did have a neck injury. And for a long snapper, a neck injury is not a good spot because I've long snapped in high school and you need your shoulders up right above your head every time you're on the field. So
and even though you're not supposed to hit them, they still get hit.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's not fool yourselves there.
That's a fake. Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah. I don't even know if that's a penalty in NFL because in high school it's supposed to be a penalty. You can't ever hit the long snapper. Yeah. And I get hit all the time. And in the NFL, it seems like they get trampled. So I can't really. I don't think that's a rule.
On. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Last piece of news I wanted to talk about. The NFL Top 100. They kind of made us look a little stupid. Last week on Sunday when we recorded, we had said who we think will be on the or who we think from the Eagles will be on the top 100 in the next 60 players at the time, and we were like, oh, these guys, this guy, and then Cooper DeJean, maybe he should be, we don't know, and then it's revealed Monday morning he's number 60. Yeah. So the same time that our episode released, we find out he's number 60. So thanks so much, NFL Top 100, making us look dumb.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, we did bring up his name and, you had mentioned it. And I even wrote on one of the posts we've got that, you did say, I think Cooper DeJean might make that top, and sure enough, the next day he made number 60. I know it was a surprise to more people than you and I. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We were pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And it's difficult to speak about because you're like, well, he didn't start the first 4 weeks. He didn't come until week 6.
Rookie.
Was that enough time? It's a rookie. Yes. You got to make a name for yourself sometimes early on.
Only half a sack. He only had 6 pass defense, maybe 1 pick. He had 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries.
His only interception was in the Super Bowl,
exactly.
And the voting is done before that, so that wouldn't have even counted. So it does make you think, because I've told people before, I'm like, what if the voting was right after the Super Bowl? Because if you did the voting after the Super Bowl, Cooper DeJean might have been number 23.
Yeah, that's true.
Just for the big play.
Yeah, it is surprising to us because, he did not have a regular season interception, but he made so many big big plays. You can watch his
Absolutely.
highlight reel. If you watch his YouTube highlight reel, you'll see so many huge plays against Cincinnati, against King Henry. I mean, it just goes on and on. He made some tackles on CeeDee Lamb, just an individual behind the line of scrimmage. Just, he was so solid, and he really made our defense go from where it was to
Oh yeah,
number one in the end of the season. So, I mean, he was 75% of that. I mean, he was really a huge part of that. The other pieces were in place, but he was that one piece that made it all work.
yeah. And I'll tell you what,
I'd give Bond maybe 40%. So I'd have to say Cooper down to maybe 50.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you also what helps. I mean, a lot of times when rookies, there's always rookies that make plays every single year, and you don't really hear about them as much because they play for the Titans or they play for even Eagles in the past. We've been like, why is this guy not getting more attention? But It also helps that when Cooper DeJean made his plays, it was against some of the biggest players in the league.
And some of the bigger games. Yes, they were nationally televised games.
And like you mentioned, the huge tackle against the Bengals was on Jamar Chase, who went on to have the best receiving season of the entire NFL. And then he also made the big play on Derrick Henry on a nationally televised game. Like,
that's right.
This big player, this all-time great running back, and then you said CeeDee Lamb, a top 5 wide receiver.
Yes.
And then of course the pick sixes against Patrick Mahomes. It's just crazy. Like he made so many big plays, and not just big plays, but big plays against big players on big TV that just made it. So he just he made the most of his opportunities without a doubt.
Definitely. He did.
Yes.
For sure. So yeah, I mean he deserves to be there. You could see if you watch his clip, there's some great clips of him to watch. So go out there and check him out.
Yep. Let's get into some training camp talk. I just wrote down a couple things of note. There's been a lot of articles recently about depth charts and about competitions in the training camp right now. So I just have a few things to note. Number one, talk about some injury. We don't always mention all the injuries because so much is day to day, but this is just a really important one I want to talk about. AJ Brown. On Friday, he sat out the second half of the practice, and he did not practice today. So soft tissue injuries popping up a little bit. So we're at the time in training camp where everyone's names are popping up on injury reports, and you start to hold them out and take it easy because Devontae, Zach Bond's still out. Saquon, he sits extra days sometimes.
Sure.
So this stuff happens, but just something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, and somebody like AJ who has not missed a practice, it's a lot of work to just go full bore from just kind of vacation. I'm sure he was working out all summer, but you know what I mean.
Of course.
When they're pushing themselves a little bit harder, and the soft tissue type stuff, that's definitely going to pop up, and that's what you have to work through in these times. Now, of course, the weather in Philly hasn't been very nice either. It's been super humid, and so hydrating when it's 97% humidity makes it kind of rough too. You can't drink enough water. So, I mean, that's one other thing to look at. But, I mean, I think we've been lucky. I mean, I think there was the Drew Makuba thing, and now he's back.
Yeah.
The last few days, so it's so funny how they jump to conclusions, if you will. But, there has been some injuries so far this season that, right away you hear about them. So that's where you just kind of hold your breath and say, let's get through these, especially the first 2 or 3 weeks. Let's get through them and get ourselves into the preseason, and then we'll be okay. But they got to work themselves up just like you and I do.
Yep. So the next thing I want to talk about, the next competition that's really not a competition, and it really almost never was. Tyler Steen. He is this team's starting right guard. There is no one pressing him right now. There's been some other podcasts and people out there who are worried about that because they're like, oh, he's getting beat by Ojomo. So what is it? Is Ojomo great or is he not good? And then there's also the talks of, there's no competition. It was like it was handed to him. And you're like, well, he competed last year and he lost it when he got hurt. And now it's, he's pushing for it back. And he played right guard in the NFC Championship game. He played right guard throughout the season several times when Becton had to walk out.
Early in the Super Bowl, remember? Becton went out early in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, came back in, but they showed him on the sideline stretching his back and doing that sideways thing. And, he was out for some of those early drives. I mean, I don't know how long, but, for some plays. So, I mean, the guy's got some Super Bowl experience, so that's good. Probably was going against Chris Jones at times. So,
yeah, it's true.
Not doing too bad.
Nope. The big thing that's going on right now, the cornerback competition. So, obviously, between Adoree Jackson and Kelee Ringo. Adoree Jackson got the first crack at the first team reps today. That makes he's got 5 days as starting with the first team. Ringo's
Right.
at 3. So it was a little bit more even. Now it's coming apart. Now they are always, moving these guys in and out. Eli Ricks is getting some time in there sometimes. There's always motion. But it is to note, Adoree Jackson, he's really leading that competition for that cornerback spot opposite of Quinyon Mitchell.
Well, I mean, there's a few ways looking at that. One way is you want the younger guy to win it, but now you've got
Always.
this experienced guy who's played, I think, 80 some games in his career, started 80 some games, and has never played with the caliber of players that he's got this year. So maybe he's got something left in that tank, and he might be, working his butt off really hard to get this spot. I mean, it's not like it's the end of anything. We know that Brown, Sidney's still got he's still going to get in there, because you know how it works. People come in and out all the time. So
Yeah.
Hopefully they're just pushing each other to the point of getting better and working harder. That's what we want to see, right?
Yeah, Adoree Jackson, 97 games played, along with 82 games started.
82 starts, right? So I mean that's 4 or 5 seasons, right?
Yep.
32, 64, yeah. So we're talking 5 seasons or more of the starting caliber. So
yep,
a little bit older, but that's okay.
Yeah. 7 games started in the playoffs. Just throwing that out there as well.
Okay.
So a total of over 100 games started in his career.
That's pretty awesome. So I mean that's a good thing. We do need some experience because most of our defense is fairly young guys.
True.
Several rookies out there.
Yeah. Nolan Smith was held out with a concussion the past few days of practice. I think he missed 3 or 4 practices. While he was out, it seemed like Ojulari was getting those first team reps on that outside linebacker opposite Jalix Hunt. So we obviously all know the clear kind of starters, or at least the guys who are going to be on the field for the first play will be Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt. But Ojulari seems to be that number 3 guy. And then a lot of reports showing that Josh Uche is actually having the better camp between Uche and Ojulari. So,
okay.
I mean, these guys are going to be playing a lot. So we really like to see and hear good things about them. They say that Ojulari had a pretty good practice on Friday when he was getting those first team reps, and that Uche has had a pretty good camp. So, I mean, these guys are going to be a really big deal for us. And, you're only as good as your pass rush in the modern NFL.
Yeah.
And these guys are going to be a big deal for us, man. They're going to be a big part of us.
Well, they know they're going to be able to go a little bit. What do I always say? Put the pin in the ears back, because you've got that defensive line interior guys, Carter and Davis. Davis looking a lot better as well. Lost a lot of weight. Looked like he's ready to prove himself this year because he's on that 5th year, I think. So he wants to continue to stay with this team, obviously. So I think he's going to be balling out pretty hard this year too. So, but I think it's a good situation to be in. Owen Smith. Hopefully the concussion. You never like concussions.
He was back. He came back today. He wasn't doing full 11 on 11s, but he was still back in action.
Yeah, I'd heard that. I think it was yesterday's practice or the day before, where he wasn't, he was outside. So that's one good thing. He wasn't wearing dark sunglasses or not, had a padded helmet on or whatever. So, there's a different degree. If you really have a severe one, they'll keep you inside to keep that sunlight out of your eyes. So, I heard about that. So, I mean, that's a good thing as well. So, but really, we just need these guys to get the reps, know what they're doing, and then be ready for week 1.
Yep. There's a lot of buzz. This is an interesting one I wanted to talk about. There was a lot of buzz coming out of training camp about our linebackers, our inside linebackers, I should say, which is kind of a surprise for the city of Philadelphia. I mean, we aren't very well known for our big name linebackers or our great linebacker play in the at all in the regular season, preseason, whatever. Nakobe Dean and Bond, of course, being out. Nakobe's still on the PUP list right now. Bond got a back contusion, so he's been out for a few days. But the trio of Campbell, Trotter, and Smael Mondon, they are they're receiving glowing praise from everywhere I look, every thing I listen to. These guys are being talked about like they're just all, they're all getting first team reps. They're all competing for that first team spot. Smael Mondon, the rookie, probably, not as much in that first team spot, but still, these guys are really, really giving each other a push for competing for that other spot opposite Bond for the first few weeks, at least, until Nakobe's back.
Yeah, you always want that. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work. You're supposed to draft pieces for need, and these guys fit in, and they push each other, and you never know who's going to emerge. Hopefully, you got another guy that we can bring in and not have to worry much about. Linebacker has always been kind of weak for us in the last 10 years, I would say. We've had a few good ones, but they left, and, Edwards was good. We liked him a lot. We've had Kendricks and things like that, but, we've never had that guy for 4 or 5 years that we could really use. So hopefully Trotter gets in there and, kind of gets in the mix with Jihaad Campbell and Smael Mondon. You've got the two rookies and a second-year player, and they're pushing each other, and, they know it's a stake. So hopefully he can do it.
Yeah, I didn't have this written down, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. Obviously, Ben Van Sumeren made the full conversion to linebacker, switched his number and everything, so he doesn't have to declare eligible.
Fullback.
Fish. Oh, I'm sorry. Fish.
That's
yeah,
okay. Nope,
Ben Van Sumeren officially converted to fullback full time now. But I wonder if somehow in the future, God forbid injuries and everything like that, is Ben Van Sumeren still an option as a linebacker in this defense?
I would say probably not, especially because of Bond and Jihaad Campbell and some of the other newer, younger guys we got out there. Of course, especially one guy that's injured is too. So
especially since they drafted 2 linebackers in the draft this year.
Yes. And I don't think so. I mean, if Ben had more of a shot, I think he would have never changed numbers and things like that. But and that whole fullback thing is, a lot of people call it a gimmick. I'm not so big on it, but last year it'd be nice to have somebody out there for maybe if the push isn't working, or we want to take it a little bit easier on, Hurts. We could just get Barkley in a fullback, and just, of course, we can always put Mailata back there too, but that's not going to happen. So
no. Yeah, the funny thing about their fullback position last year, they started moving him to fullback. They played him here and there. He got hurt. He got hurt in the Jags game, which I think was week 8 or 9, pretty early on. So it was like, okay, well, that's done. Well, then they signed a fullback. And we had a fullback play until the Super Bowl. We had a fullback in the Super Bowl. Yeah, Blasingame.
But he only played 8 plays, maybe.
Correct. Yeah,
there weren't many.
It still is a surprise though that they, they lost their fullback and they got another one. You would think if they weren't committed to it, they would have been like, okay, we lost him. Next season we'll try again. But they really committed to it.
But you got to remember now we have a whole new offensive coordinator now. Maybe that was, the one that left, maybe he was into a fullback, whatever. Yeah. Maybe the new guy's not. So we'll see. But, I think Ben Van Sumeren is definitely a fan favorite, team favorite. They like the guy, so they want a spot for him. He's a good special teamer. So that's one of the reasons he's around. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't see him using that much.
Yeah. And before I get into the next player I want to talk about, that was another thing I wanted to mention. The special teams group is looking really good right now as far as Ben Van Sumeren still being on the team, Jeremiah Trotter, who had a great season as a special teamer last year. If Kelee Ringo is not in the starting lineup, he was a special teamer as well.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Sorry, I got a little thing here.
He was great.
We got 10 minutes on this, so we got to push through a little bit. But what I was going to say, let me just move on to the next guy. Then Sidney Brown was what I was going to say.
Right.
So Sidney Brown, Makuba's still injured, so Sidney Brown's getting all the snaps when Cooper DeJean's in the nickel.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and Makuba, like I said, I heard he's back. I don't know if he was, on the field running, but he wasn't out. He's got the shoulder thing going on. So
correct.
Hopefully
he
that's
wasn't back for the full practice, but he started in the 7-on-7s to begin.
Right. There you go.
All right, let's get into the big stuff, the non-Eagle stuff that we want to jump into. We'll have to be kind of quick on the first one because we'll want more time for the second one. Around the league, big news right now, Terry McLaurin in the division, Washington Commanders. Demanded a trade.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, we talked about it off camera and things like that. It's good that there's that disruption. I can't imagine they don't sign him. He is 29 years old, which kind of surprised you and I. For some reason, I thought he was a younger guy. I don't know why. Maybe because he hadn't done much, in some of his early years. But you went through his year by year, and he seemed to have some good numbers even 3, 4, 5 years ago. So
yes,
it's not like he's a nobody, but the name, wasn't as big as I thought.
You expect him to be back on the Commanders?
Exactly. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Unfortunately,
me
fortunately
too.
for them.
Me too, but I 100% agree with you. It's just great to have the disruption, the issue, the anger, Jaden Daniels not practicing with him now. Like, it's great to have that, which leads me into the next one, the bigger one.
This is big.
Also in the division, Micah Parsons demanding a trade from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and he didn't just demand a trade.
Yes.
He said, I don't want to play. It got more personal.
Yes.
McLaurin didn't seem personal, but
No.
this one with Micah seems personal. From today, from what I've heard, even as today, they have not gotten in the room with his agent. They will not speak to his agent, and they are trying to do the contract with him, with several people and just him. And he said, "I'm not doing that anymore."
Yeah.
So I mean, this could go on for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They only have 4 weeks till it starts. So
yeah.
I mean, this is something that's pretty big. It's going to be a day by day. Of course, this is the kind of thing Jerry Jones loves.
Oh,
He'd rather have you talking about this than talking about the win-loss record. It's
100%.
just the way it is. I don't understand it. It's better to be quiet and win playoff games than it is to be on the cover of the Time magazine every week and not even make the playoffs. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, but and the same thing with the McLaurin thing with the Micah Parsons. If I had to guess, I would 100% guess that he's going to be back with Dallas, similar to the Myles Garrett thing. But the difference from the Myles Garrett thing, Myles Garrett, when he released his thing, he was like, "Oh, I need to win. I want to win. I want championships. Yada yada yada."
Right.
He didn't attack, a guy or the organization.
No.
He was just kind of like, "I got to go win," and then he, they gave him enough money to keep him. Okay, I'm here.
Right.
But Micah, you're right. You read this whole thing. It's about, I don't want to be held behind closed doors without my agent.
Yes.
I don't want to play for this team anymore. I don't want to be made, a joke as far as, I'm injured and now I'm being questioned for the light. I put my body down for the organization.
Yes. And he has.
Yes.
He
does.
I think Jones said he missed 6 games. He only missed 4 games last year.
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean, as well as I do, we watched him for Penn State. This guy is a game changer, a game wrecker. He's got 52.5 sacks in 4 seasons. 5 seasons? 4 seasons.
4 seasons, yeah.
So we're talking 13 sacks average per season.
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
First player since Reggie White to have 12 sacks in his first 4 seasons. And we all know how good Reggie White was.
Yes. Well,
yeah, it's incredible. But like I said, had to bet, I'd say he'd be back. But it is great to have just the turmoil, the disruption, the distraction is the biggest word.
Right.
That's what Dallas is for.
Plus, he is also not practicing.
That's the thing.
And you get another 2 weeks before he starts practicing, before they sign him to the richest contract ever, $45 million a year, something like that, which is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get $280 million. It's just the way it goes. But then maybe it does hold true that he doesn't play all the games. I know there's been a knock on him. I'm not going there because I think the guy's a great player. But he has disappeared in playoff games. But that's not on him. That's on his whole team. So
yeah. And it's also tough because, I don't want to make Eagles fans mad who are watching us, but Micah Parsons, it sucks because he is one of those players that if you play for any other team, we'd probably love him because he's Penn State. But not just that, you watch him play and you're just like, there's players that you watch them play and you're just like, oh, he's just so good. I just love watching this guy play. It's similar to me with TJ Watt. It was similar to me with JJ Watt. Julius Peppers was one. Right. And that's Micah. It's even though he plays for the Cowboys, there's times where I'm watching him and I watch him play and I'm like, oh my God. He's so good. And it sucks.
He's so good.
And you hope that he gets, hopefully he gets traded to the Tennessee Titans and then we can like him then.
Yep.
But it is tough because he's just one of those players,
I would be very, very, very surprised if he's traded. Very surprised.
I can't imagine.
Because even 2 number ones and it doesn't work out. It never works out for either team. They draft the wrong guy. Look at the Niners with the whole Trey Lance thing. They didn't get the right guy or the team they traded for him. They didn't get the right guys. The AJ Brown trade, they got the Burton guy who never made it.
Traylon Burton. And they just cut him.
When you got the known commodity, you sign the known commodity. Okay.
100%. But
so
yes,
that's my take.
I agree with you there. Let's go ahead and finish up here. We'll mention one thing. The Phillies had a great game tonight. Only won 2-0, but Duran got another Duran came in and got another save. Him and Sanchez played a great game. Played 8 innings, only allowed 5 hits. He's been amazing. Only 6 strikeouts, but the other week he had 13, his career high.
Well, I saw a stat on him. He's top 3 for 17 games with giving up less than 2 runs or something like that. So he's definitely making some waves this year.
That's for sure. And then Duran had his 18th save of the season. I think it was his 18th save of the season. His second for us already in 3 games. Nice. And we got the series win over the Tigers, who are one of the best teams in the league. I saw some things ahead of time yesterday on ESPN that were saying, is the Tigers Phillies? Is this a World Series preview?
We stole one yesterday, so.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we lost, and we stole one the day before. And then we got this one tonight, which was great.
Yeah,
it was great. I saw Schwarber hit a homer in the 8th inning. It was awesome.
Wow.
435 feet, killed it.
He's 38 on the year,
which it also pushed him up to tied for first in RBIs in the league.
Oh wow,
with 88 alongside Cal Riley.
He's also leading the league in after the All-Star game home runs.
That's awesome.
So since the All-Star break, he's got more homers than anybody else.
Amazing.
8. So yeah,
unreal.
He's doing great.
Just incredible player to watch.
Definitely.
Right. Let's go ahead and say our goodbyes. All y'all, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like Philly Eagles Therapy, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Comment down below what your thoughts are on this Micah Parsons drama and the Terry McLaurin stuff. All that sort of stuff. You can email us your questions at phillyeaglestherapy@gmail.com. That's PHILLY, eaglestherapy@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the new logo, the new name. We're excited for it. We like the new clean Kelee green. It's a good feeling, right, Dad?
Yeah, it is. And which is funny, we're just trying to reach out. Maybe the name we had before prior was a little bit difficult, wouldn't get your hits. Hopefully you start putting in that PHIL on the YouTube, and we'll come up right there. So do what you can for us. Give us some likes. Help us out. Let's get this out here to more fans, and we'll get some more input and have some more fun.
That's right. All right. From all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.